All right, y'all. So I read How My Neighbor Stole Christmas by Meghan Quinn. Like everybody else, I have seen it all over Book Talk and Bookstagram, and I just finally decided to read it. Now, I will say I was a little hesitant, just because I feel like I have been burned before by like popular Book Talk and Bookstagram books. So I was a little hesitant on whether or not I would like this, but let me tell you, this was absolutely amazing. Like, this was a 10 out of 10 book for me. I cackled through a good portion of this book, like absolutely could not stop laughing. So obviously we follow Cole and Story, if you know anything about this book, and it's a small town where Christmas is like the big thing. And basically Cole is, he was born and raised there. His parents died, several years prior to the start of the book. He's kind of become a bit of a Grinch. You'll see that theme kind of go throughout the whole book. Story, her aunt Cindy, again, a little Easter egg, lives in the town, and she kind of would come every Christmas until this last Christmas that she went, which was about 10 years before the book. But she is now back because her Aunt Cindy has broken her hip, and her sister Taryn are now there to help her aunt, heal from this broken hip. Now, Story and Cole, when they were younger, did have a friendship, but now there's a bit of some hate and animosity between the two of them. But Cindy, Story's aunt, basically wants her to join this like Kringle competition, and be crowned like, the Kringle of the town. And Cole is like, absolutely not. She is not going to win this. So he enters with his best friend, Max, another Easter egg for you. And we just see a whole lot of shenanigans happen. So obviously, if you didn't catch all my little things, this is a Grinch kind of like, I guess, retelling or inspiration from the Grinch. It's hilarious. I loved finding all the little like Grinch kind of Easter eggs. I'm sure I missed a whole bunch of them. I did pick up on the Max thing just because I do have a dog named Max, and I do have antlers for him that I have put on him before for Christmas. So I did pick up on that one pretty quickly, but I feel like there's some other ones I probably definitely missed, and I'll like see again when I read this again next year. But I think the relationship between Story and Cole was perfect. We went from a really good, like, kind of hate, like I said, hate/animosity type thing all the way into lovers, and it progressed really well. We also obviously have this whole competition in the background, which was so super fun. Like, Meghan Quinn, I loved all of the little pieces of this competition. I thought they were amazing, and I would definitely sign up to do some of these if I was living in a small town like this. There's just so many things about this book that I love. Like I said from the beginning, I laughed through a good, like, 90% of this book. Like, full on cackling, could not stop laughing because they were just absolutely hilarious. One of the things I really, really loved was that kind of like at the top of every chapter / sometimes in the middle of the chapter, the narrator would kind of do that like typical like Grinch kind of poem song type thing to give more into the story. But Cole would actually talk to the narrator, and listen, that was amazing. I know some people probably won't like that because I know it kind of breaks the fourth wall type thing, but I am a huge fan of breaking the fourth wall, and I found the interactions between Cole and the narrator so freaking funny. Literally there's just moments where like the narrator just gives Cole shit, and I think it is the best thing, and it was such a good addition to this book. So obviously, if you can't tell, I really loved it. I think Bookstagram and Book Talk, 10 out of 10 recommendation. You guys, this book deserves all the hype it is getting. It's perfect for this year. It's funny, it's like humorous, it's kind of that like feel good, fun, Christmassy book. Very low angst. I would say there's really no angst at all. There is some spice. The spice does happen later in the book. So if you're looking for like an instant, like, spice scenes or whatever, it's going to take a little while to get there. But once you do, they are amazing. I know we have all seen everything about the candy cane scene. It lives up to the hype. It is amazing. I probably won't look at candy canes the same way for a while, but that's okay. But yeah, the spice, once you get there, it is hot. It is amazing. It is perfect. Absolutely everything about this, like I said, was amazing. I think the relationship between Cole and Story, like I said, progresses perfectly. No points did I feel like anything was a little too forced or pushed through. All the side characters were amazing. Absolutely loved all of like the little side characters, their little unique personalities. They were their own people. Like they didn't kind of fade into the background. you looked forward to seeing them. Now, obviously the book ends in a happily ever after because it wouldn't be a really funny romantic Christmas story if we didn't. I will say I'm very curious, Miss Meghan Quinn. Are we going to get a book for Max? Because I kind of feel like you hinted that at the end, and I would absolutely jump on that book immediately if we do. I thought he was such a fun character and I really, really enjoyed him. So I would 10 out of 10 really love to have a book from his perspective. So if you are like me and this has been on your, like, you kind of saw everybody else reading this but you weren't really sure, take it from someone who feels like they've been burned by book talk and Bookstagram recommendations before, that you will not be burned by this one. It is amazing. It is perfect. You will laugh, you will have a ton of fun. It's a very quick read. I read it in basically about a day, less than a day. So it's a very quick read. And like I said, it's also really fun just to kind of read and go through and see if you can pick out any of those Grinch references. Like I said, I probably missed a bunch of them, so I'm going to be really excited on a reread if I do see them.